Diana, you're in Times Square chasing naked, painted ladies. What do you got?
You might recognize New York City's Amber Jamieson.
We stood just around here, so it came out of Sephora.
After all, the New York Post reporter was just on the cover of the newspaper, only dressed a little differently. Ditching her pen and paper for a blue thong and heels, she spent the day in the life of a topless street performer, making around $200 in tips as she posed her photos for us.
The scariest part was really when I was standing there. I got out of my clothes and was wearing just a little robe with a thong underneath, and I had to like pull the robe aside to be painted. And he immediately like put paint over my nipple. And once that happened, and I was sort of standing there, I was like, and people were watching, and I thought, this isn't so weird.
No one else is pitching it, so why shouldn't she? After all, the topless street performer is a debate that continues to lead the headlines as Mayor Bill de Blasio and Governor Andrew Cuomo vow to regulate Times Square. Now, after all is said and done, here's what she's saying.
The naked cowboy sits here in Times Square and everyone thinks it's like the greatest thing in the world. So this idea that if a woman takes ownership of her body and performs for people topless, that this is a negative thing, that's what I found the kind of most offensive. This like very sexist double standard that exists.
I also asked her about tourist reaction. People say this is going to be pushing people from Times Square.
A mom with her 2 kids. She was desperate for a photo with me. She was trying to get little girls to come along, and the little girls were like, I don't know about this. And the mom was like, I think this is the best thing ever.
There are a lot of female politicians coming out in support of her. There are a lot of male politicians coming out and saying, no, we got to stop this. I think there's a history, a long history in America that, you know, the female body is viewed differently than the male body. It goes into whether you're rating something on, you know, a movie or a show. So the question is, do any of you find this offensive?
You know what? No, I don't think it's sexist or demeaning. I think that there's a place for it, and it's just better regulations. They just can't be running wild in Times Square.
Panhandling is not legal. You're not allowed to be out there panhandling, and I think that's going to be how they come at this.
It is legal to be topless in New York City.
Right.
We can argue about it all day, but these women have a right to be there.
It's not sexist and demeaning. If she thinks that her nude body is only worth $210 a day, it's her prerogative.
This Post article actually is opening up my eyes a little bit to the other side of things. We hear these bodyguards are like pimps, but we hear the first-hand accounting of this writer.
We basically need security. If anyone says anything, he's there. He's constantly going to buy food or go and buy like a water bottle or like, you know, tampon, like literally whatever you need.
But then the question is, why does she feel threatened at all in Times Square? Isn't that the very point of what we're saying here, that the quality of life in and around Manhattan is starting to decline?
But the article goes into the fact that she felt safe when it was highly tourist, and the New Yorkers leaving work made her feel a little bit unsafe.
Maybe the problem is we have about half of the amount of patrolling officers in Times Square than we did. You're gonna have problems in Times Square when half the police officers aren't even there.
Looking at the numbers that she reported, it looks like she could earn between $30 and $40 an hour doing this work. It's gotta pay better than the Post. Is she thinking about doing that as a full-time job?
She did say if she was strapped for cash, she would definitely do it again because the money is just, you know, where else can you find this?